Tonight we're speaking with a Def Leppard tribute band called Definitive Leopard. You guys are based out of Florida, is that correct?
Yeah, we are Definite Leopard.
Definite.
Definitive Leopard. Definite Leopard.
Definite Leopard. Okay, thank you for correcting me. So how you guys are a relatively new band. I don't think you guys have even performed your first show yet. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
And so, what made you want to, put together a Def Leppard tribute band? I mean, obviously you guys are fans, so I guess the best place to start off with is, how did you each get into the music of Def Leppard?
We basically started off with our drummer. This is his project. He started off, and I'll just let him take over and describe what he did to start this tribute band. His name's TJ.
Okay.
This is TJ. How you doing?
I'm great, DJ. Now, why don't you, so tell us how you started the band and what made you want to do this?
Well, it started off a few years ago when guitarist Sean Price and myself were in a different tribute band to the Red Hot Chili Peppers called Higher Ground.
Oh, okay.
So we were winding Higher Ground down, and we were just huge fans of Def Leppard, and just had a massive respect for the band on all kinds of levels, musically, professionally, personally. So, Sean and I just kind of kept it on a back burner until we could find the right kind of guys to do it, and I put an ad out on a whim, and I found Davey. Davey, who will talk to you now, and you will notice that he speaks quite differently than us.
Okay.
As soon as we found our Joe, everything went forward from there. So this is Davey. The next voice you hear is Davey.
So Davey, how you doing, Davey? So tell us, how did you first become a Def Leppard fan, and why did you decide to get involved with these guys?
Well, I'm a Brit.
Okay.
Born in Newcastle, fully fledged Northern Englishman, who lived in Sheffield for a while as well, and I've been living on the West Coast
Wow.
for the last 16 years. Just moved to Tampa Bay at the end of December, and I put an ad out there on Craigslist to say, Brit singer looking for a local band, and at exactly the same time, I noticed an ad for Definite Leopard. So, it all came together very well, and I think that part of the reason that we chilled is that between us, we've got about 30 plus years playing in successful tribute bands on both coasts.
Wow.
And personally, in the UK as well, So for me, I was really excited to meet fellow Leopard friends, and they seem pretty happy with the idea of having a Northern English singer too. So it's fantastic for me. I've seen Leopards so many times. I was actually in a band in LA with a guy called Curtis Law, who was Phil Collins' guitar tech. So I've had a chance, and somewhat immodestly, to be able to observe the Leps on several occasions from stage side view as well as out front, and very privileged to have spent a little bit of time with Joe and Viv and Phil talking about musical influences.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, met CJ and the guys here, and it was just a done deal as far as I was concerned.
That's great. So, did you tell the guys about your Def Leppard tribute band, and what did they think?
I've been in Who tribute bands, Zeppelin tribute bands. I'm still in a Beatles one on the West Coast as well, but living like this, living as good as this. But we just joked because not only have we been in good rock bands over the years, but we've had a lot of reasonable success individually in tribute bands, and it just clicked straight away.
Well,
we've been in tribute to the Beatles, no doubt, Chili Peppers, Led Zeppelin, the Who, Bon Jovi.
Well, so you guys are definitely well versed in your musical trade, and now I think your singing is going to be your secret weapon, because I got to tell you, just the British accent, he's got the Joe Elliott sound down, and I don't think you could pull this off with an American singer, if you know what I mean.
And he looks just like Joe too. Better looking. A younger, better looking Joe without the.
So I got to ask you, I got to ask you guys, because there's very different facets to Def Leppard's music. A lot of like first two albums are a lot heavier, and then they got their more poppier stuff like off of Hysteria and Pyromania. do you guys kind of love it all, or do you prefer one era over the other?
Well, what we wanted to do when we did this tribute is we kind of wanted to make sure that we covered all the bases for all the fans. Of course, you got the monster hits, Hysteria and Pyromania.
Uh-huh.
But I remember being a teenager, sitting by the pool, listening to High and Dry.
Yeah.
And, myself and Dan, our other guitarist, who plays Vivian or Steve Clark, depending upon it.
The song, yeah.
We're old school rock and rollers, heavy metal. So we definitely wanted to cover some of the, through the night stuff. And so, as a matter of fact, I think the first song we did was one of was either Wasted or something like that when we all got together. So it's really important for us to make everybody happy and that comes to see it, because we're not giving a show for us, we're giving a show for the fans, and it's all the fans, the ones that basically gave them their beginnings, and then all through the pretty girls with the big hair and the tight jeans through the 80s. So yeah, it's important that we cover all of this stuff, and the more we progress, we'll be introducing more current songs.
Yeah.
But the old stuff is it's really important to us.
And of course, I got to ask if you guys. Yeah. Of course, I got to ask you guys. Do you have your first show even booked yet, or where are you with that? As far as performing your first show.
We've got our first show coming up on June 28th. It's at the Silver Dollar in Tampa, and after that, we are going to be playing a number of Florida-wide shows that we're just setting up at the moment. We're fortunate enough to be with Suncoast Music Management, who also represent a lot of other very good tribute bands like Battery and Hell's Bells, Atomic Punks. And so, with their support, we're not only going to be doing shows in Florida, but also across the South to begin with.
I got to ask if you guys are aware of a tribute band down there in Florida called Shot Down in Flames. They're, of course, a AC/DC tribute.
Tell us about them.
Oh, well, it's a guy I interviewed a couple times, and until recently, it was him and his dad. Him and his dad were running the band of this guy. I know his name's Corey, and he does Angus, and his dad was doing Malcolm Young, and they just, a lot like what you guys are doing. They look the part, and they really got the sound down and everything, and they do like Bon Scott era material. So, and I understand that down there in Florida, the tribute scene's starting to really expand these days.
Yeah. I mean, that's great. We love all tribute bands. We don't have any animosity. People think do you not like this tribute band or that tribute band, or did you know that there's another tribute doing the same music? We love them all. Music's music, and we're fortunate enough to be down in Florida where we actually go down to Sarasota and go to a bar, and the real singer of AC/DC will walk in and throw back the mic with us, as they say. The more the merrier.
Yeah, see, part of the reason I'm interviewing guys like you is because a lot of, I've seen myself, all the hard work that goes into put on a tribute show like what you guys do, and there's a lot of so-called haters out there that they believe the guys that play in tribute bands are failed musicians that could never make it doing their own, original thing. But again, my experience has been that this is about entertainment and put on an ultimate rock show, if you will. I mean, best example I can give people is out here in Los Angeles, where I'm from. I'll never forget seeing this Guns N' Roses tribute. They're called Hollywood Rose, and the first time I ever went, I mean, I swore I was looking at Axl Rose in 1987. I had to blink my eye for a minute. I swore I was at a Guns N' Roses concert. It was that good. And if people come to your show and you can convince them they're at a Def Leppard show, or that you guys are just that good, you're giving the people come to your show, an ultimate concert experience, if you will, or even taking them time, back in time, when they were younger in their life, and reliving a special moment.
Well, we're really looking forward to the first show because we really want to put on something that's really
Yeah.
even by tribute band standards. We're gonna have a laser show for our first gig.
Cool.
We have an enormous Union Jack backdrop ready to roll. We've got audience giveaways. We're connected with. I worked on the business side of the music industry for a long time. We're going to be doing audience giveaways throughout as well, courtesy of Universal. So I haven't told the guys about it yet. And our little secrets. You're the first to know this, but our leader and professor of the band, CJ, is working on something. Might take a little bit of time, but something very special to do to add to the show that I don't think any of the tribute bands.
I don't think any tribute band ever has done it. So I went to school for engineering before I got into music. So we've actually are recreating a hologram of Steve Clark.
Wow.
Using the same technology that they used for Tupac.
Wow, that's cool.
So if all goes well, and we're actually going to have Steve Clark on stage with us, and I think that's and that goes back to your what you said before about washed up musicians or whatever. We're not that. What we are is we're paying tribute to these people because we love it and we want to recreate it. And you know what? For 90 minutes, we want those women and who now have children or now soccer moms who used to tease their hair up and go to the malls in New Jersey. We want to send them back to a place that was a good time back in the day, and that's what we do. And it's just for all the critics that say tribute bands are just a copy band. You know what? Come out to our show. We'll invite you there. You'll be our guest. We'll buy you drinks. We'll take you backstage, and we'll make you believers. So that's where we're coming from.
And see, I gotta tell people too, this is not American Idol. I mean, there's a lot of hard work that goes into this. Just getting up there, performing somebody else's music. I mean, if anybody go on your Facebook page, I mean, that's made me want to contact you guys. Is I looked at some of the photos, thought, wow, these guys, they got the look down. I can't say, what you sound like because there's no video. You never performed yet, but it got my interest enough to say, okay, I wanted to talk to these guys about what they're going to do or what they got planned, because they went to the trouble of of learning, getting the look down and everything, and that is a big part of it. I mean, that makes it more than just you getting up on stage and doing the music of Def Leppard and in a jeans and a t-shirt. You're going the extra mile to look the part, and I really respect a lot of these tribute bands that take it to that level.
For us, this is about being authentic. This is not being derogatory or anything, but there's some bands obviously out there, some tribute bands who are sometimes just on the verge of being a parody.
Yeah.
And that's not where we come from at all. It's a heartfelt homage to Def Leppard. As we've been lifelong fans, it wasn't a case of which band do we think we can form a tribute outfit to really go out there and make money. It wasn't a commercial. It's not a commercial element. It's really true from the heart. We love this band, and to the point that the team here, the guys, use a lot of British equipment, whether it's Susan Kettner or Black Star. That's important to us. Our two guitar players, Darren and Sean, they use Gibson Firebirds, Les Pauls and Jacksons because it's a throwaway tribute. This is something that we're taking seriously, and we really want to be as authentic as possible for the audience.
And forgive me if I got the name wrong. Daisy, you're the singer, right, Daisy?
Yeah.
Let me ask you, going back in time when you first heard the Def Leppard song, "Hello America." I mean, you're kind of living that story, if you will. I mean, first of all, I'd like to ask you how long you've been in the States, and what was that like for you? Tell your story about how you got the opportunity to, leave England and come to America. What's that been like for you?
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, just to go back to halfway through your question there, I'm a very useful chap.
Yeah.
But just got the chance to see them right at the beginning. I saw them opening for AC/DC in '79 in my hometown of Newcastle, where Brian Johnson's from as well. And then I saw them headline their first festival at Reading Revolution with Solar EP, the first thing they ever released as well. So it was great, you know, it was part of the new wave of British heavy metal. It was a movement that came through around about 78, 79 in the UK. It's championed by Sounds magazine, and I think a lot of younger bands, especially from the north, industrial north, felt that some of their heroes had kind of stood out a little bit. Not me personally, but a lot of folks did. And so a movement kind of formed, and out of that, bands like Saxon, Iron Maiden, and Samson, Vardis, a lot of bands kind of came out of that, which the cream is still around today. And for me, it was always Def Leppard at the top. And to answer your second part of your question, I've been here since '98. So, you know, I was in the UK and saw a lot of changes over there. But obviously, Leopard, they were around in the 70s, early 80s, but they didn't really break until they had a lot of success in the States. And it was great for me, though, because I was at university in Sheffield when Paramania came out. And just being in that city when that happened, that was pretty special. It was a special time. You know, there were the local heroes there, and I'm really proud to have had the opportunity to spend time there while all that was going on.
Yeah, I mean, just knowing that part of your story, fact that you're a guy from Newcastle, England, and you know, you're living your rock and roll dream, so to speak, here in the States. I would really, think that'd be a great way to open the show. You know, hello America, hello. You know.
Yeah, I said that the day I got my green card.
Yeah. That's just a great, a great part of the story. Now, I got to ask, now you're talking about the new wave of British heavy metal. You know, I've heard Joe Elliott in interviews where he kind of he like tries to distance Def Leppard from, the new wave of British heavy metal. He tries to say that he puts Def Leppard closer to Rolling Stones and the Who, and he says the only thing we had to do with the new wave of British heavy metal is that we were from Britain.
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm not Joe Elliott.
Yeah.
Obviously, but at the time at that time, I think that Leopard wouldn't have got to where they are, or wouldn't have had that first step unless they had been lumped in with the new wave of British heavy metal. They were definitely they were definitely established in the UK because of that. And I think they might have struggled if not, because at that time bands with a slightly more American sound, like Aerosmith or 10 Years and folks like that, just didn't get airplay at all, didn't really get support through the music media at all. I think that the Leopard could have easily been marginalised, but the new wave of British heavy metal definitely helped them.
Yeah, so you guys, you guys are telling me tonight, before we did this interview, you were rehearsing. Could you share with us some of the songs you guys were practicing tonight?
Dan is our musical director.
Okay.
Who plays Vivian and Steve Clark. Pretty easy to do, right? Play two guitar guys. We did Photograph tonight and worked on Woman.
Okay.
Last week we worked on, we went through our whole set. We're trying to get ready for our show, so we ran through all our songs. It took us quite a long time because, we wanted to make sure we had them all right. We ran through them all, and then now we're just, going back and fine-tuning them. So we take between 3 and 5 songs at each practice, and we go over them, and we just try to refine them a little bit better and better. And the harmonies, of course, is one of the main factors in Def Leppard, and it's a big challenge to be a singing band as well as a playing band. And, they stated all along that they're a singing band. And then, of course, it's very, very difficult to pull off Def Leppard's vocals because they're so dynamic in their vocals. So we're really giving it our best to sound as good as we can. It's just a great challenge for us.
And besides emulating Joe Elliott, Def Leppard, like you're saying, the vocal sound. I mean, they got some very powerful background vocals. So how hard has that been for you guys to emulate that background vocal sound?
Well, let's put it this way: we weren't as good singers as we are now because we really didn't have as much to offer in the beginning. But we've all matured as singers because we've actually have had some coaching with some harmonies, and we've all found our voice as far as what harmonies we're each singing. So it's more coming together for us. It's still a learning curve. I mean, we learn all the time while we're singing, and we sit down and do acapella stuff to try to get the harmonies, and with just an acoustic guitar, and try to work on and honing in on the true sound as close as we can. We even have vocal coaches come in
Oh, okay.
And make sure we're doing the harmonies correct. I mean, we have put a ton of time into this, and we wanted to make sure when we did our first show that we just make everybody happy.
And so, how long? Let me ask. How long have you guys been together?
And tell everybody, June 28th, but this last weekend, man, I was back in 1985.
Wow. And let me ask you. So, as a band, doing Definitive Leppard, how long have you guys actually been together as a band doing this?
Well, the various members of the band have been together, getting it ready for about 3 years.
Wow, see, right there, 3 years in the making. That's pretty impressive. People might think, well, it takes them 3 years to do their first show, but that I hope helps people realize that all the homework or hard work that goes into just the research and to get the look and the sound and down. I mean, it takes a lot of work.
It took 3 years for Def Leppard to record Hysteria.
Yeah, there you go.
So there you go.
Now, Dan, being the musical director, I got to ask you, one thing I always loved about Def Leppard as a band, I mean, like, you even go back to, like, when they put out the Hysteria album, they always had, like, great B-sides. I mean, if you look, they have their retroactive album, which is a lot of those great lost B-sides. Any chance you guys will throw any of those tunes into your set list?
I think eventually we will, but right now we want to come out of the gate hard hitting. So we want to hit everybody with the songs they know. And of course, as time goes on, we want to be able to mix up our sets and our songs that we're playing. And throw in a few obscure songs, like, for instance, song Action.
Yeah.
That's Thunder by the Sleep. We plan on putting that in there. And people are going to wonder, where's that song from and who actually wrote it. But, if we're going to do stuff like that people aren't expecting, and maybe even open up with a Who, something like they do live with Def Leppard, kind of throw some of their flavor into what we do too.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys about that. Now, of course, they did the Las Vegas residency. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to check out that CD and DVD they put out of that.
Well, of course, we've been over that thing. All we
Now, of course, like, you guys got to get this off the ground, and like you said, when you first start doing it, you're going to be doing all the hits, but after you've been doing this a while, would you ever consider doing, like, Hysteria or even Pyromania or something like that in its entirety for one show?
You mean like a classic album live?
Yeah, like...
it is something that is definitely possible.
Uh-huh.
But that would probably be an instance where we're doing 3 or 4 nights at the same venue. So, we're capable of doing it. Like, right now, we could do Hysteria if we wanted to, from beginning to end.
Yeah.
But I just, it's just not the time to do that.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely, when it comes down to it, we could do that. But on the flip side, Def Leppard's already done that. And we're not trying to
be Def Leppard.
We're not trying to pretend to be them. We don't think we're them.
Of course, yeah.
We're just celebrating their music and paying tribute to them.
And now, like we were talking earlier,
do it. And if everybody wanted us to do it, we would do it.
And like we were talking earlier, for example, there's thousands of AC/DC tributes or even Led Zeppelin tributes all around the world. I'm a few aware of a couple other Def Leppard tributes, but they're not quite as many of those out there. Do you think it's harder paying tribute to, like, a band that's still existing today, but still, you're not doing like Led Zeppelin that's, retired and not putting out any more new music. Def Leppard, they're getting ready to write some new music, I understand, and go in the studio. So, do you think that's any harder when you're paying tribute to a band that's still regularly touring today?
I don't think so. It's for us. We've been, as I said before, we've been in a lot of tribute bands between it.
Yeah.
Part of the attraction, as well as being friends, part of the attraction of Def Leppard is almost the complexity of it.
Yeah.
It really challenges you as a musician. Really challenges you, and that's a lot of the fun. But I think it can also be quite daunting for a few folks out there as well. So that's my opinion on why there aren't that many.
And I think a lot of these tribute bands, have to have a little niche. And I think what you guys got going for yourself is the fact that, again, especially, Florida area where you guys are from, there's not a whole lot of Def Leppard tribute bands in the area. I mean, so for anybody that maybe can't afford to go see Def Leppard this summer, you guys are the next best thing. They can come and still hear about music. Again, it's not the same thing as going to see a real Def Leppard, but if you guys put on that kind of ultimate show, these people are at least going to get to hear the songs they love.
Yeah, Def Leppard are playing here exactly 4 weeks after our first show.
And so,
they might get scared. Who knows? They might get scared of.
Hey, you never know. They might hear you guys are performing and come check your show out. That would be totally totally cool. So, are you guys planning on seeing Def Leppard on tour this summer with Kiss?
Yes, definitely. Most definitely. That actually, there's been, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this publicly or not, but there's been talk of us playing with a Kiss tribute. And I can't say which Kiss tribute, but I would say that they're a fairly strong army.
Wow, that's totally.
I'm supposed to say that.
Okay. And so I was going to ask you about the rehearsal tonight. Are you guys happy with the way the rehearsal went? Do you think you got the songs down pretty much? You worked all the kinks out, you think?
Well, I can't really speak for these guys, but I'm down with stuff. Listen, what we're doing and the complexity of what we're doing, and we love it so much, and we want to do it so perfectly for ourselves, as much as for other people, and as much as we run through it, and as much as we nail it, every time that we practice a song, we pick up a little different nuance, or we'll listen to a show that they did in Wembley Stadium and say, oh, look what they did there, and look what they did there. So we're our worst critics, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we can get it perfect, it's still not good enough for us. So we're always striving, but like tonight we spent 2 hours on 2 songs.
Wow.
And most of it consisted of harmonies and breaks. Actually, we spent more time on not playing than the actual playing. So yeah, I mean,
well, you guys.
Everybody has a bad practice, right? If you have a bad practice, you go home, you throw your stuff against the wall, you want to put all your stuff on Craigslist, and you're done. You're going to become a nun or a priest, right? Everybody's done that.
Well, I think you guys are off to a great start because simple fact I've heard, like even when they're in the recording studio, like Joe Elliott's a real perfectionist that he'll record over and over until he gets it just the way he wants the song. So I think you guys are you're onto something special here. So I got to ask, Dan, you were saying you're the kind of musical director. How did that responsibility fall into your hands?
I'm very outspoken, and I created enemies in the beginning by doing that. They're all laughing, but I just always seem to hear things and point things out as we're going along, and everybody hears it after I bring it up, and then they all agree, and then we all do it. So I just not all the time, but I help things along, and I try to as much as possible, and then after a while, everybody else starts picking up on stuff, and I don't even have to say anything, and they start hearing things too. So everybody does their part. So
I got to ask the rest of you guys, being that Dan's so-called, quote, musical director, and he's saying he's really good at, at what he does, how does he feel when you guys in turn kind of pick on his playing or tell him that he could do something a little better?
Well, first of all, that never happens because he's always right.
Oh, okay. That's wow. See, you got your.
At all. Actually, when he goofs up, we get up, we do a rain dance, we bang on drums, we take all our clothes off. No, it never happened.
Wow, well, Dan, it's great that your boys are backing up. Now, this might seem like a funny question, but I'm not a musician myself, so I got to ask. I want to ask the drummer. Is it any difficult playing like Rick Allen? Obviously he's a one-armed drummer, and that takes a little bit of technique. So, does that affect your playing anyway when you're trying to learn how to play these songs?
Well,
You know,
let's put it to you this way. I kind of shelved my acoustic drum kits and went with all electronics. And actually, by hook or by crook, I actually got the actual drum sounds from Def Leppard. So when you hear me hitting the drum, you're actually hearing the actual sound that was recorded.
Wow.
So in terms of his technique, playing electronic drums was the biggest challenge.
I would think so, yeah.
Everybody brings up the one-arm thing.
I mean, again, it sounds like a silly question to ask, but like I've heard him in interviews where he talks about, you know, when we started the band, I had 2 arms, and now I've had to kind of change my technique because I'm playing some of the stuff with my foot, and again, it seems like a silly thing to ask, but people, I bet you know, you're gonna have people in the audience like, oh man, you know, he's got 2 arms. You know, it's a silly thing, but I understand it does affect the technique of like how he plays.
Well, there's definitely a difference playing the older stuff compared to the newer stuff. But we've done our homework to try to find a medium. Of, how it was recorded before and how they play it now. But I just want everybody to know, because everybody brings up that funny question. You know, they think it's funny. Are you going to play with 1 arm? And
of course not. Yeah.
The answer is no.
Yeah, of course not.
Because we're paying tribute to his music.
Yeah.
And his talent. We're not paying tribute to his tragedy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, okay, he's got 1 arm, and it's amazing what he can do. But you know, honestly, if I had a 3rd arm, you know, I would take it. So to try to do what he does. So.
Yeah, and you know, all kidding aside, I just think, you know, what he's done, you know, since his unfortunate accident is just totally, you know, amazing. I mean, when I heard him talking about, you know, I was in the hospital and Phil and Steve came and visited me, you know, I got the idea, you know, just tapping on my bed. I'm like, you know, who would have, you know, who would be in that condition and be thinking, but you know, that just shows, you know, he's the ultimate musician, if you will. You guys there?
Yeah, we couldn't quite hear there.
I was just saying that, you know, all kidding aside, I mean, you know, Rick Allen, he's the ultimate musician. I mean, when you stop to think that at the time, you know, he's in the hospital recovering from his accident, that's when the idea for the electronic drum kit, you know, came to him. I mean, that just proves, you know, this guy's the ultimate musician, and I got all the respect for him in the world.
And so do we. I mean, got respect for him and Phil and Steve and Joe and everybody that came before him. So, yeah, super cool.
And well, you know, I know it's late where you guys are, so I'm not gonna take up too much more of your time. I just like to thank you for doing this, and you know, maybe we can do it again down the line. But I'd like to talk to you guys again, maybe after you've done your first show, and see how the first show goes. But thanks again for doing this. Is there anything you guys like to say before we end this?
Would it be okay to send you a couple of things? Maybe as we get closer to the time for the show, we'll send you the definitive set list that we're putting together.
Oh,
that might be of interest.
Oh yeah. I'd appreciate anything.
A couple of personal photos that are connected with Def Leppard. Maybe we can share those over your way as well if you're interested.
Yeah, I appreciate anything you guys send me, and then once this interview gets posted, we'll post the photos along with the interview. But just